Imagine your scripts are so good that your viewers can't resist binge watching your content and then immediately book calls. Most creators think good scripts are about hooks, storytelling, and call to actions, and although those are the base skills, they are kindergarten level stuff. What I'm about to show you goes way deeper into the actual belief systems and mental frameworks that make viewers physically unable to stop watching your content. And I'm not talking about entertainment tactics or Mr. Beast style hooks. This is specifically designed for business education content that converts viewers into qualified leads and paying customers. My name is Octav, and over the past year I've written hundreds of scripts, and what I've discovered is that most business educators are using script writing techniques designed for entertainment, which is exactly why their content doesn't convert viewers into customers. And that's why I've boiled down the 6 script writing frameworks that top business educators are using right now to create compelling content that sells on autopilot. The first framework is something I call the assumption reversal, and it's based on a simple principle. Your viewers have existing beliefs about your topic, and your job is to systematically challenge these beliefs in a way that creates mental tension. Here's how most creators approach this. They state a contrarian opinion and then move on, but that's not enough to create lasting engagement. True assumption reversal works in 3 steps. First, you identify the most common assumption in your niche. For example, if you're a business coach, a common assumption might be, I need to be an expert before I start coaching. Second, you don't just disagree with it, you flip it completely. For example, the most successful coaches I know started coaching before they felt ready, and that's exactly why they succeeded. And third, and this is the key, you explain why the opposite belief actually makes more logical sense. And it will sound something like this. When you start before you feel ready, you're learning alongside your clients, which makes you more relatable and creates better results because you understand their exact struggles. This creates what I call cognitive restructuring. You're not just giving them new information, you're helping them rebuild their entire belief system around the topic. The reason why this works so well for business education content is that your viewers are already somewhat familiar with your topic. They have existing beliefs that may be holding them back. When you systematically reverse these assumptions, you position yourself as someone who sees what others might miss. The second framework is about deliberately guiding your viewers through specific emotional states throughout the video. I call this the emotional state transition. Most creators accidentally create emotional chaos. They make viewers curious, then frustrated, then confused, then bored. There's no intentional progression, but when you map out the emotional journey you want your viewers to experience, you can control their engagement at a much deeper level. Here's the progression that works best for business education content. You start with curiosity. Why do some coaches charge $10K while others struggle to get $100 clients? Then you move to mild frustration. The reason has nothing to do with their expertise or experience. Next, you build to recognition. It's actually about how they position themselves in the market, and then you create hope. And once you understand this positioning framework, everything changes. And the last, you end with confidence. You'll know exactly how to position yourself as the premium option in your niche. The key is that each emotional state should last about 2 to 3 minutes, and the transition between states should feel natural, not forced. When viewers go through this specific emotional progression, they end the video feeling like you've taken them on a journey. They associate that positive feeling with your expertise, making them much more likely to seek out your help. The third framework is something most business creators completely miss, and it's costing them conversions every single day. They think that conversion happens at the call to action, but here's what they don't realize. Conversion actually happens throughout dozens of tiny moments throughout your entire video. I call this the micro commitment architecture. And it's the difference between viewers who watch passively and viewers who are mentally saying yes long before you ever make an offer. A micro commitment is any moment where a viewer mentally agrees with something you've said. It could be nodding their head, thinking that's exactly right, or recognizing themselves in an example you share. Here's the crucial part. Every micro commitment makes the next one more likely. When someone agrees with you once, they're more inclined to agree with you again. And by the time time you get to your call to action, they've already said yes to you 15, 20 or maybe 30 times. And there are 3 types of micro commitments you need to architect. Recognition commitments, where viewers see themselves in your examples. You know that feeling when a potential client asks for your price and you immediately start justifying why it's worth it. Logic commitments, where viewers agree with your reasoning. If your ideal clients are already watching YouTube videos to sort their problems and you're not creating content, then your competitors are building relationships with your future customers while you're invisible. And the last, aspiration commitments, where viewers want your promised outcome. Imagine opening your laptop on a Tuesday morning, sending one email and having 3 qualified leads book calls before lunch. The formula is recognition, logic, and aspiration. Then repeat the cycle but go deeper each time. You need a micro commitment every 30 to 45 seconds. Keep viewers actively engaged. And by the way, I spent the last 3 days writing 70 plus scripts for every niche imaginable. These are fill in the blank scripts you can use whenever you want. So click the first link in the description to get access to them. Now let's dive into the 4th framework. This addresses what I call the implementation gap, and it's crucial for business educators because your viewers already know they should be taking action, but they're not. Traditional content creation tries to solve this by giving more information, but information isn't the problem. The problem is the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Here's how to structure content that acknowledges this gap. First, you openly acknowledge that they probably already know some version of what you're teaching. You've probably heard that you need to create content consistently. You might have even tried it. Second, you identify the specific reasons why knowing hasn't led to doing. But there's a difference between knowing you should create content and having a system that makes it sustainable. And third, you reveal what bridges that gap. The missing piece isn't more information, it's a framework that removes friction and makes execution automatic. This approach works because it validates their experience while positioning your solution as the bridge they've been missing. You're not treating them like beginners who need basic information. You're treating them like smart people who need better systems. The 5th framework is something I call the future back method, and it's specifically designed to help your viewers see the path to their goals more clearly. Most business educators make the mistake of starting with where the viewer is now and trying to push them forward, but that often feels overwhelming and unclear. Future back works differently. You start with their desired end state and work backwards to show them the path. Imagine running a coaching business where clients seek you out. You're booked 3 months in advance and you're charging premier rates. Then reveal the final step that creates that outcome. That happens when you have a waiting list of qualified prospects who already see you as the obvious choice and work backwards through each prerequisite. But you only get that waiting list when you have content that positions you as uniquely valuable, and you only create that positioning when you understand your audience's specific transformation journey. And finally, connect it back to their current situation, which means the first step isn't creating more content, it's mapping out that transformation journey. This method works because it makes the path feel inevitable rather than uncertain. They can see exactly how each step connects to their ultimate goal. The 6th and final framework completely changes how you think about calls to action, and it's especially powerful for business educators because it attracts higher quality leads. Instead of trying to convince everyone to work with you, you help them determine if they're ready for your level of solution. Traditional call to actions sound like, if you want to grow your business, book a call with me. Qualification reversal sounds like this. This approach works best for business owners who are already generating some revenue but want to scale without burning out. If that's you and you're ready to invest in systems rather than just tactics, then book a call. The structure has 3 parts. You first define who this is for, be specific about their current situation, not just their goals. Secondly, you identify the mindset they need to have. Are they looking for quick fixes or long-term systems? And do they want to do everything themselves, or are they ready to get help? And make your calls to action feel like a natural natural next step for someone who meets those criteria, rather than a sales pitch. This approach works because it creates self-selection. The people who book calls are already pre-qualified and more likely to become ideal clients. Now, let me show you exactly how to implement these frameworks by walking through a completely different niche. Let's say you're a fitness coach creating content about sustainable weight loss. So this will be the hook using the assumption reversal. Most people believe that they need to eat less and exercise more to lose weight. But here's what I learned working with hundreds of clients. The most successful weight loss happens when you eat more of the right foods and do less intense exercise. The reason this works is because sustainable habits beat perfect plans every single time. Next is the emotional state transition, and we start with curiosity. Why do some people lose weight without effort while others struggle with every pound? Then you move to frustration. It has nothing to do with willpower or genetics. You build recognition. It's about working with your body's natural systems instead of against them. You create hope. Once you understand these systems, weight loss becomes predictable. And end with confidence. You'll never have to guess what works for your body again. Next, we have the body of the script, and we start with the implementation gap strategy. You already know you should eat healthy and exercise regularly. You've probably tried multiple diets and workout plans, but there's a difference between knowing what healthy habits look like and having a system that makes them automatic. The missing piece isn't more nutrition information, it's a framework that removes the daily decisions and makes healthy choices your default. Next step is you use the future back method. Picture yourself 6 months from now maintaining your ideal weight without obsessing about food or spending hours in the gym. That happens when healthy habits are so integrated into your life that they require little to none willpower. But you only get there when you have a personalized system that fits your schedule and preferences. And you only create that system when you understand your specific triggers and patterns, which means the first step isn't changing your diet, it's mapping out your current habits. And then you do the qualification reversal. This approach works best for people who have tried multiple diets and are ready to focus on systems rather than quick fixes. If you're someone who wants to lose weight once and keep it off permanently, and you're willing to invest 3 to 6 months in building sustainable habits rather than looking for 30-day transformations, then this might be exactly what you need. Do you see how each framework creates a different kind of engagement? You're not just giving information, you're reshaping how they think about the entire topic. So those are the 6 advanced scriptwriting frameworks that separate business educators who build massive engaged audiences from those who just struggle to get views and conversions. If you follow every single framework in this video, I promise you will see a dramatic improvement in your viewer engagement and conversion rate. But doing this alone is clearly easier said than done. First, mastering all 6 frameworks at once while creating consistent content is likely overwhelming. And with everything I've given you, you really have 2 options. Do it yourself, knowing all the problems you'll face, and I wish you the best of luck, or work with me to help you create scripts that consistently convert viewers into qualified leads. If you picked the second option, click the second link in the description to see how we can implement these frameworks for your business without the hassle. And if you want to know how to convert more with your videos, click this video here and enjoy.